Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, or as the phrase is said in its presumed German origination,
Alle Oxenfree.
That is a phrase used in children's games such as hide and seek to denote the fact that hiders can come out of hiding and switch sides without incurring any penalty. Which is of course an analogy on how you can right now switch sides by subscribing to this channel for free and be part of the— Was that too soon? Alright, fine. Hi, it's me. This is another video about a walking simulator. This time we're talking about Oxenfree. Walking simulators are a genre I've always had quite a bit of fondness for. Being a bit of a nerd, I've always loved that feeling of adventure, of mystery and intrigue, but I never really liked reading, so video games were the next best thing. However, unlike your Calls of Duty or your Rants of Valor, walking sims let you simmer in the narrative, really make you feel like you were part of it instead of a tool for it to continue forward. And Oxenfree excels on that approach. What you say feels like it matters, and the way characters act feel real and human. Looking at it right now, it probably doesn't look like your run-of-the-mill walking simulator, and it technically isn't, since they're usually classified as first-person adventure games. But words mean what I want them to, so I'm going to classify it as one. Anyway, Oxenfree 2 is allegedly coming out this year, so this video is going to cover the original game, what I believe its themes and core messages to be, and generally why it's a good-ass game. However, before we get to that, I am obligated to say that this video has spoilers for the events of Oxenfree, obviously. So if you don't know anything about Oxenfree and don't intend to find out through this video, then I would recommend you, yes you, I know who you are, to leave. But to my resident, should be finers, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of the events of Oxenfree, and I mean a quick one. I'm not going to go through every little detail, just the gist. You play as Alex, who along with her longtime best friend Ren and newly acquainted stepbrother Jonas travels to Edward's Island to meet with old classmates Nona and her longtime best friend Clarissa. Before the trip though, Ren asks Alex to bring a radio, since rumor has it that at some points on the island, radios can pick up strange frequencies that shouldn't exist. Of course, these rumors are true, and as Alex and Jonas venture deeper into the caves to investigate, they accidentally open a rift which transports everyone to different parts of the island. As Alex and Jonas go out to save everyone, they discover that they are being haunted by the ghosts of the 97 members of the crew of a submarine named the USS Kanaloa, which was sunk by friendly fire about 50 years ago. Bit of a jump, I know, but that doesn't really matter. While they travel, Alex also finds herself messing with time, as at various points her and the others find themselves repeating moments in time over and over again, though strangely enough she's the only one that ever notices when they go back in time, at least at first. Another jump, but this one we will return to, trust me. The ghosts of the island want to sacrifice and absorb themselves into the bodies of Alex and her friends in order to live on. They have been trapped in an inconceivable extra-dimensional space outside of reality, and their only means of escape is to absorb themselves into human bodies, or release themselves and face the true nothingness that is death.
Why haven't you just let yourself—
Because it's scary, that's why. Have you ever stared into nothing and moved with it and felt a part in it? It's worse than when we were wilting into atoms. Worse than dying the first time.
I can imagine it, okay? You think contemplating annihilation makes you special?
What you can imagine is a toddler's toy bag compared to facing real extinction. Don't speak to us of imagination.
It's impossible for any of us to comprehend what it will be like to die. It's easy to say that it's like this, a vast ocean of nothingness, but that's kind of just human cope. In reality, it's completely impossible to describe or understand it. The ghosts of the USS Kanaloa represent a point between life and death. No, they're not actually dead. Death would mean an inability to speak, think, play games, or well, do anything. But they do see before them the true meaning of death. The actual nothingness that the regular human mind could never comprehend, and they themselves can't describe it, falling back on the same terms that us humans use to just conceptualize. But to them it's real, and they're scared. In face of such an incomprehensible fate, they decide that their best option is to lose part of their own humanity and condemn others to an untimely fate in order to save themselves. It's easy to say that if we were in the same position we wouldn't do the same, but how does that change when we actually have to make that decision? Well, Alex finally gets to find that out herself. At the very end of the game, Alex is faced with an ultimatum. She could give up Clarissa to the ghosts in order to set herself and the rest of her friends free through damning Clarissa to non-existence, the same fate that the ghosts have spent a practical eternity finding a way to avoid, or you could sacrifice yourself to save Clarissa and your friends and close the rift completely, trapping yourself with the ghosts in a state of not really death but a fate comparable to one or worse, forever trapped in a loop of the horror of the island, never being able to progress, grow, or do anything for the rest of your life. Alex's ultimate ultimatum highlights Oxenfree's theme of sacrificing others for the sake of self-preservation. Hell, the island even follows this same theme, though in a much more metaphorical way. Edwards Island was named after Colonel Caleb Edwards, who earned the right to have his likeness immortalized, see what I did there, due to his part in the American Indian Wars, showing how Edwards sacrificed others so that his name could live on through American soil. We even see the correlation between what the ghosts are doing to the teens and what Caleb Edwards did to the American natives, as the ghosts tell Alex,
"The forceful removal of an ignorant people to make space for destined holders is a time-honored tradition in our still young country, and you will be a part of that heritage, Alex."
We see the ghosts putting down the teens as lesser, writing them off as ignorant, making them deserving of their sacrifice. It's obviously an unjust way of looking at things, especially when you're put in the perspective of those very teens. Now, I don't think I need to spell this out for you, but what the ghosts are doing and what Caleb Edwards did was wrong. Believing yourself worthy to kill another person just because you believe they're ignorant isn't really right. That's why sacrificing Clarissa at the end of your journey will always be the bad ending. When you play Oxenfree, you won't like Clarissa, I'm sorry, but that's kind of a given. She mocks, bullies, and even blames you for your own brother's death. She represents a person that you might see as below you, but if you choose to leave her and save yourself, well then, you're no better than the ghosts that torment you and the colonialists that slaughtered native families before you. The significance and importance of human life is emphasized throughout Oxenfree's narrative. By being on the receiving end of the ghost's plans, you see the true injustice that is murder for the sake of one's own benefit. The same injustice used to justify colonialism, war, and also ghosts using dimensional rifts to steal teenagers or whatever. Even one of the anomalies on the island says as much.
Every individual, it is maintained, is enveloped in a radiance invisible to the carnal eye and only perceived by the soul accustomed to it.
It's easy to simplify a person down to surface value attributes like ignorant, annoying, or even just different, but everybody is more than that, even Clarissa. There is a radiance, a light that exists within people that separates them from animals or objects that can only be recognized by other people. Not just anybody, but people who are accustomed to that radiance, who are aware of the value of individual life, someone with humanity. You wouldn't be blamed for sympathizing with the plight of the sunken crew of the USS Kanaloa. Taken too early, all they want is another lease at life. They have spent a virtual eternity facing death, but in the process, they've lost what kind of makes them human.
Remember, certain things, our faces went a while ago, then our names.
Our names. Blood. Our anger.
Our anger is, we're afraid, all we have left.
The force that haunts Alex and her friends throughout their tenure through the island aren't the people who lost their lives in the incident of the Kanaloa, but instead the strands of consciousness that still remains of them years after the incident, fueled by nothing but anger, fear, and loss. By holding on to only that hope and need to return themselves to reality, to life, they have lost what makes them human, leaving behind a mere shell of themselves. By refusing to accept death, they have ironically lost what it even means to live. They lack names or faces or even memories of the modern world. That's because Oxenfree isn't just about life, it's more so about death, and accepting it as a part of life. The experience and degradation of the ghosts is a reflection of Alex's relationship with Michael. Okay, I haven't talked about Michael yet, so here's the rundown. Michael was Alex's brother. He wanted to leave town and go out on his own, but when he went for one final swim with Alex before he left, he ended up drowning. Part of Alex feels like she was responsible for Michael's death. She feels like if she never went on that swim with Michael in the first place, he would still be alive. Okay, but he's dead, and the story is about ghosts, so how does that mean anything? Well, I did also mention that it has a lot to do with time. Alex gets sent back moments or months into the past, so far that she is able to talk with Michael again. You can approach this in two different ways. You can either talk to him like you would normally, living out that moment with your brother, or you can convince him to never leave town. This decision crushes him, but he never leaves and he never loses his life. He is there for the epilogue, as if he was with you throughout your entire adventure on the island. But this Michael isn't really happy. Part of him still regrets not leaving, and he will always carry that burden with him. Michael isn't alive anymore because of himself, his own will. He is alive because you wanted him to be. You couldn't accept him being gone, so you bringing him back has created this version of him that isn't whole. In essence, you've done exactly what the ghost of the island did. You took his life from him for your own self-benefit. Michael should be dead. Fate willed it that way. Bringing him back is hypocritical since you antagonized the ghost for trying to bring themselves back because fate took them too early. The story up to this point has taught that playing and toying with human life is wrong and unjust. Yet everyone sees taking back Michael because you want him back to be the best ending. Well, I disagree. What Oxenfree teaches is to cherish life, not to protect it by any means. One cannot just toy with life because they feel it is right, because that's exactly what the ghost of the Kanaloa taught. I mean, 5 teens in exchange for 97 people, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. But that's not it. Life isn't something that can be changed, it's something that needs to be respected, and death is just as much a part of life as anything else. Just because Michael got taken too early or the Kanaloa got sunk unfairly, it doesn't mean they deserve a new lease of life, and you shouldn't sulk on that or else everything just gets worse, for you and for your memory of them. What's most important is remembering them as people, as that radiance in your life. Remember them by your trips together, by their favorite jacket or their favorite song, not why or how they died. That's how they can truly stay alive. Stay human. Hey, if you're still here, awesome. You should like and also subscribe or whatever. Also, I'd like to reiterate that this is my personal take on Oxenfree. Maybe it's held up by sticks and straws, I don't know. But it's just what I read playing it, kind of, and I hope it did it justice in this video. If you're still here again for some reason, consider checking out my other videos and also a second channel, although that's completely optional. Stick around, maybe I'll make more videos about video games or even TV shows, because I watched Edge Runners recently. It was fucking amazing. You should watch it, and I'm thinking about making a video about it. I don't know. Anyway, that's about it, so bye.